last quarterback we've seen that's as talented coming out of college as Trevor Lawrence. They set the expectation. Andrew Luck, 4 Pro Bowls in his 9 years of playing. John Elway, a couple Super Bowls. They have set the expectation.
With you.
So what are the expectations of a first-round pick at quarterback that goes to the Cleveland Browns, particularly in the 2000s and since, these last 20 years? I will tell you all, America, the range is very simple. Anywhere from Johnny Manziel, who was 2-6 as a starter, to Tim Couch, who was 22-37 as a starter. That is the range of quarterbacks for the Cleveland Browns that were first-round picks since 1999 to present day. 2-6 to 22-37. You got Brandon Weedens and you got Brady Quinn's in between. But that's the range, the worst of Manziel to the best of Tim Couch. Baker Mayfield has more wins in 3 seasons than Tim Couch, the high ceiling of the range, had in 5. Baker Mayfield, 23-22. Tim Couch, also a #1 overall pick at the quarterback position in Cleveland, 22-37. So Baker Mayfield has already smashed the high ceiling of what the expectation must be.
Smash? Interesting.
If John Elway and Andrew Luck made 1 Pro Bowl after being such highly touted, then the expectation of being the most highly touted quarterback to come out of college would be that 1 Pro Bowl. They have set the bar for expectations. So if Trevor Lawrence goes out and makes 2 Pro Bowls, he would have defeated the expectation. So the expectation for a Browns first-round pick at quarterback, at best, has been 22-37. Baker Mayfield is 23-22 in 3 years. He has trumped all expectations.
No, he has not.
But you like my take?
I did like your take because you made something out of nothing, but it ended up being nothing. But look, I know how they're going to spin this. For Cleveland, they're going to say yes. And you just did that, but not for where he was drafted as the #1 overall pick. No, he has not exceeded expectations. Once again, you went back to your well, the king of omission right there. I love me some Acho. Because Acho will look at the calendar and rip off pages, say, who needs that month? Oh, who needs that year? I love how you want to stop. Before, when I grew up watching these Cleveland Browns, and there were some high expectations. Do you remember, rest in peace, Marty Schottenheimer? Do you remember those days? Yes, those 3 straight winning seasons, 12-4. Have these Cleveland Browns went 12-4? 10-5, 10-6, out there battling with Denver. We all know what happens in some of those battles. Expectations, you can't start them and when you want to because it supports your narrative. You have to base them on what this franchise expects. And then more importantly, what does the league expect when you're #1 overall? Baker Mayfield is 23-22 in terms of win-loss record. Acho, that is as close as you can get above treading water. As close as you can get over 500. You know what that is? Let's go to school. 23-22 is like having a 2.1 GPA. But Acho, the daddy, is sitting there saying, we going to Chuck E. Cheese. My baby got a C. He got a C. And he was the first pick. What school they do that at? Where the valedictorian head of class has a 2.1 GPA. Boy, if you don't stop and lose that ghetto mentality you have of these low-ass expectations.
Don't do this on national television.
I'm going to do it on worldwide TV.
Put context in it.
I ain't going to put no context in it.
First-round pick last year, Joe Burrow, what'd he do?
Got hurt.
2-7-1 as a starter.
Hurt. First-round
pick the year before, Kyler Murray. What'd he do? He's 13-18-1 as a starter. First-round pick the year before Baker Mayfield. What'd he do? He 23-22 as a starter. The only one in the last 3 years with a winning record as a starter.
So that means they all have.
Why? Because if you have the #1 overall pick, you're probably going to a porous franchise.
Yes.
In the last 40 years, 22 quarterbacks have been selected #1. 4 have winning playoff records. 2 of them have the last name of Manning. So if your last name ain't Manning, then 2 quarterbacks of the last 20 quarterbacks in the last 40 years that have been selected #1 have winning playoff records. Baker Mayfield has already exceeded the expectations there by going to the playoffs, winning himself one, before losing himself one. So he's still at least at 500 when all them other cats got losing records.
Hold on.
Sal,
what the hell are you doing
Let's keep counting records before then. Jameis Winston. Does he have a winning record as a starter?
All underachievers.
He's a #1.
All underachievers.
No, because
no.
Achievement has to be based upon that which came before you. So if nobody had gone to the moon yet, if we we ain't been to the moon.
Have they?
How you gonna?
We're doing that? What show are you on?
Assuming
what?
somebody been to the moon, right?
I heard.
Then you can't say, wait a second, you underachieving if you ain't been to the moon yet. Because the expectation I'm telling you is, what have you already achieved? What have you already accomplished? If number one overall picks haven't accomplished a ton, and Baker Mayfield has accomplished more than number one overall picks, then Baker Mayfield has exceeded expectations.
Whoa, you done put Baker Mayfield in this team burrito and said he's all of it. Nuh-uh. He ain't all of it. He may be the shell. He may be that flour tortilla, but he ain't all of it, big dog. You act like this offense, this team runs through Baker Mayfield. Stop it. No, it does not. And you act like team success is all on Baker Mayfield. Boy, stop that. It's not about
If team failure is, then team success.
Yes, and they don't have a ton of success. Did they win a division? One game over 500. One game over 500. Let me do this, because you're suffering like Cleveland Brown fans are suffering from battered fan syndrome. That means you just don't know which way is up anymore. Let me personalize this story before I get it back into my notes and my nuggets. Growing up, I saw a lot of adversity. Drugs, gangs, poverty were the top three to most people. And then they would ask me what was the worst to me. I said, y'all ain't even listed yet. And they'll say, what is it, Marcellus? I said, low ambition. I saw people aiming too low. I don't give a damn what the circumstances are. I said, we could be greater than these circumstances. I saw people out there that just weren't aiming high enough. It looks like you are in that mindset as well. You don't have the highest of mindset and expectations. You always profess to me Super Bowl or bust. Even though I disagree with it, all of a sudden you losing some of that energy right now, Super Bowl or bust, and you have the selection of every single eligible collegiate player, and you pick one that gets you a 2.1 GPA?
No,
I'm not done. You ain't going, hell no. Let me go here. Tell me this. Is this number one overall worthy? 33rd in completion percentage since you got drafted. 27th in passer rating. You want to keep going? How about passing yards per game? 21st. You ever gonna crack top 20 and something, but you were the number one overall pick? You cannot wrap this around.
About to hurt your feelings.
Success, which is only one game over 500.
Sal, what was the fastest you ever ran at 400 meter? One lap around the track, America. What's the fastest you ever ran?
Man, I was 11 or 12. I think 58 something. I don't even know exact. 58 2.
That's fine. It's irrelevant. The fact that
I won nationals.
If you would have run a 57, you would have been ecstatic. If you would have run a 57.
Yeah, I know who did, though. I know somebody who did.
But
what?
To somebody, somewhere, a 57 is hella slow. But for Sal, if he would have run a 57, knowing what his PR personal record or PB personal best is, a 57, you would have been ecstatic. Because you would have been better than anything you had ever done. At least in recent history, if not ever.
I love that recent history. Recent. Why you gotta say
Baker
recent?
Mayfield and these Browns.
What? I'm listening.
The best they have done since 1994.
What about before that?
Since 1994.
Okay.
Baker Mayfield has trumped. So don't compare Baker Mayfield's Browns to Tom Brady and his Patriots. Because I'm not going to compare Marcellus Wiley to Michael Johnson. That's what I'm not going to do. If Michael Johnson ran a 400-meter time that Marcellus Wiley would have been ecstatic about, Michael Johnson would be in tears. Michael Johnson, one of the greatest 400-meter runners of all time. He would be in tears. So, Sal, expectations. Prior accomplishment dictate expectations. And the Browns have accomplished much less than what they've accomplished now with Baker Mayfield.
You know what? I think you just are a victim of relative expectations, and I'm a victim of absolute expectations.
Well, we both got to be victims.
Because guess what? We're both losing this one right now. I'm going to say it like this. When your completion percentage is worse than Case Keenum, when your passing yards per attempt is worse than Nick Mullins, and when you have a worse passer rating than Gardner Minshew, I don't want to hear how you exceeding anything, any expectation. It's just as simple, big dog. Michael Johnson, yeah, he can jog faster than I ever could run. But there is an absolute standard out there. And please don't take me to Chuck E. Cheese just because of a PR if I still don't qualify by the absolute expectation. Coming up, CeeDee Lamb thinks the Cowboys skill players can compete with anybody.